Welcome back to another video of Splatoon 3. In this video, I'm going to be explaining why and how Nintendo basically just ruined Splatfests. So first things first, as I'm making this video, we have currently had two Splatfests in Splatoon 3. The rock, paper, scissors one, which acted as a test fire, which meant that it came out before like the game actually released, so it was kind of like a demo for PvP that only lasted for like 1 or 2 days. So people got to check out the new weapons and maps and just play before the game actually came out, which was a smart way to introduce the game. And the second Splatfest was which item would you bring to a deserted island? Fun, gear, or grub? Gear winning that one. But the themes aren't really what made the Splatfest bad. What truly made the Splatfest bad is just how it is in comparison to normal turf war. In Splatoon 2, it was pretty much just normal turf war the entire time, but there was a twist to it in Splatoon 2, and the twist was that every Splatfest we got a different new shifty station that changed for every Splatfest. It had some features from story mode in it, which was what made it just fun and unique compared to the other maps, which you just play on the entire game. Shifty stations were only for Splatfest, allowing you to just have some unique gameplay compared to just normal turf war or ranked battles. In Splatoon 3, over the test fire and Deserted Island Splatfest, we have not gotten a shifty station, which means it's kind of unlikely that we will get one for the upcoming Splatfest. What we did get for Splatoon 3 Splatfest that we didn't have for 2 was tree color battles. Because there are 3 teams in Splatoon 3 for each Splatfest, we have a mode that lets 2 of the losing teams fight the winning team at halftime. 2 players on opposite side, 2 players of each team on opposite sides of the map try to go against the winning team at the center of the map, which has 4 players. Using a device called the Ultra Signal, they can actually get get some ink off, making winning easier. Once someone wins in tree color, the if one of the losing teams was in tree color, the other losing team wins as well. However, if the winning team wins in tree color, that's in the center of the map, then essentially that team wins. But because you just get so much clout from tree color and just being able to attack the enemies from 2 different directions is great. Most of the time, the attacking team wins instead of the defending team. Another thing that makes the Splatfest bad is that tree color just rarely shows up. Or at least Nintendo just kind of nerfed the rates of tree color in the last Splatfest, making it quite uninteresting and pretty much turf war on the maps you've already played on the entire time. So it's pretty much just turf war the entire Splatfest for the Deserted Island one. It did show up much more in RPS, but still kind of rare, to be honest. And oftentimes, the defending team in tree color would lose due to the fact that all you have to do is take the Ultra Signal, and that boosts your chance by winning by a lot. So it just becomes incredibly easy to win as an attacker, and as a defender you need good team collaboration and to somehow be able to ink part of the enemy's base, which is kind of hard to do because most of the time you're alone because of lack of communication on tree color. In Splatoon 3 Splatfest, you had to choose from 3 sides compared to only 2 in Splatoon 2. But the problem is with having 3 sides is that we now have Big Man, which Big Man is a funny meme character that people like. However, his personality kind of just confirms that we're gonna have a meme option for like almost every Splatfest prompt. Because for Deserted Island, we also have Bud, which is kind of a meme answer, so not gonna have like a full serious like prompt with just 3 actually like good answers. It's just always gonna be one weird funny answer with it because each idol has to choose a different Splatfest theme, which is what Nintendo tries to go for with these Splatfests. Another thing that made it bad is that Splatoon 2 had just one big, just one like thin passageway to the lobby terminal, which Splatoon 3 doesn't have, and in Splatoon 2 the idols were kind of doing a weird dance, in like some platform that was only there for the Splatfest above the lobby terminal, so you kind of just got to see them the entire time you were in the plaza, which you don't in Splatoon 3 because instead of the Splatlands being just a straight line, there's kind of just a weird like square you can go in where you just can't see the idols just doing their dance, which kind of makes it a bit uncool compared to 2, and the music from the Splatfest also gets quieter when you try to go away from that circle where the idols are dancing. Now going back to the fact that Splatoon 2 had 2 choices instead of 3, it was more divided because it was more of like a 50-50 between each category of the Splatfest. So it was more kind of intense compared to Splatoon 3 Splatfest, where everyone was just like hating on like 66% of the players. Team Fun kind of like players kind of like stayed neutral and tried to like and wanted to get along, and Team Gear players kind of just hated on everyone else. So just not really as intense. It doesn't create as much of an emotion as having 2 teams did back in Splatoon 2. Like just dividing them into 3 isn't like that much engaging as dividing the community in half. The final reason that Splatoon 3 Splatfests are worse than Splatoon 2 Splatfests are that most of the time there's pretty much just one team that dominates most of the matches, and most of the time you're just either losing to most of the enemies or just destroying them. Because of that, you pretty much just don't get to have as much of a fun time because just the one sweaty team, which was basically Team Gear and Team Rock in the 2 Splatfests we already had, pretty much just win the majority of the time, and you don't really get a chance to win that often. And speaking of that, most of the time you'd like get bad teammates and that don't really know how to play and cause your team to lose a lot. So you pretty much just lose to a bad teammate. And the final reason is that in Splatoon 3, there's often a disconnector that just someone often disconnects during a Splatfest. When someone disconnects, the entire game ends as long as it was within 1 minute. So people were basically abusing this fact, and in 10 times and 100 time battles, when you're actually lucky enough to manage to get one, you sometimes get a disconnector that didn't want the enemy to win the 10 times battle or 100 times battle. So they disconnected, it causes the game to end, and when you think you're lucky, you're not, because you don't get to play in that 100 times or 333 times battle. This issue wasn't in Splatoon 2, and people pretty much wanted to stay because they didn't want the enemy team to just get that 100 times win, so that was more, so they didn't really disconnect nearly as often as they do in Splatoon 3.